It's my great pleasure to bring to our show a really, really good friend of mine. He has won most awards that you can think of. He has done so much stuff for magic and created magic for other magicians. Please welcome my friend, Mr. David Penn. Hey, David.
How you doing? Good to be here in my kitchen.
Yeah, I know. Seriously, we're all spending a lot of time. You brushing up on your culinary skills?
I wouldn't go that far, but it's the best location in the house. I'm seeing so many terrible live videos with people like in dark rooms with really bad shadows, and I'd be the same if I went to pretty much any other room in my house where it's just not suitable. But in the kitchen, it's perfect. You know, you can make a coffee, do a live broadcast. It's great.
I know this is the future of our business. Hey, BGT's coming up soon, which of course makes me think about you. You know, you don't say this a lot, but I will say it. You were the first one ever to make it to the live final, and you were also the live semis, sorry, and you were also the first magician to make it cool again. You know, and I thought it might be a really fun thing for us to talk about a bit. I know a bit of this story, but I think the viewers will find it fascinating.
Well, it's very kind for you to say that, Jamie. At the time I did BGT, you're absolutely right. Lots of people said, don't do it. It was this terrible thing. And I think even the BGT production team would probably even admit that they stitched a few magicians up in the early days. But I went on there with a great illusion invented by John Taylor. I thought it was perfect for the show. And I think a lot of people did suffer in the early days because of the wrong choice of material and didn't have a great trick that just really kicked them in the teeth, you know?
Yeah, you certainly did that, and John Taylor's trick was fantastic, and you were the first one to have it. I think I ended up buying it off of you, as I remember. We've traded a few illusions back, and John Taylor will be on this show in a couple of weeks, so if you're interested in that illusion and you know what I'm talking about, we'll be talking about that in a couple of weeks.
Probably one of the best
We've always loved
modern-day illusions.
Well, the biggest illusion of all, of course, and this is a news flash, in Germany, long before there were the Ehrlich brothers, there was Penn and Allan.
Oh, no.
When we paved the way for them to follow.
Alla Endenfassen or something.
Alla and Den Hendenfassen.
We spent all
Den
day
Hendenfassen.
learning that. Yeah, because you sold me your appearing helicopter, which was fantastic. I did it at a few corporates. You were not using it in your latest show, so you sold it to me for a season. And then all of a sudden you got in touch and said, I've had this TV show, get in touch. They want to do the helicopter, but I want to do it as well. Yeah. So do you fancy doing it as a double act? And it wasn't the most bizarre thing ever. We got on the plane, you know, all the stuff got shipped over, and was it Mega Clever? Was that the name of the show?
It was called, I think it was called Mega Clever. It was so much fun. We laughed the entire time we were there. Nobody knew.
I think we worried.
Nobody knew what we were saying. Yeah, we did, and I had to, for our viewers, we had to get a lot of people from the audience to surround this helicopter when it appeared, or with the space where it was going to appear, and we had to tell everybody to hold their hands, you know, make a circle. So they taught me the German and said it was Allan den Hendenfassen, I think, and. Yeah, nobody knew what I was saying. They kept saying, no, they just repeating the same words back to me. And I think in the end they were going to like dub it. the German, they were going to dub it with German, I think.
Well, we spent all day learning the lines, seeing who was the best at delivering this line. And I think 5 minutes before we went live, they went, do you know what, just leave it.
Just do it in English, didn't they? They said, just do it in English.
You're like, okay.
Yeah, it was a great experience though. I'll put a little clip of it up. I think Tommy's got it. I told him we might mention it, so I'll ask Tommy to play that in a moment. But now we like the smaller things in life as well. We're both into our tech magic. You know, I've got my show iMagician. I know you're doing a bunch of tech stuff at the moment. You're enjoying that, I see.
Yeah, I've always liked doing tech magic. Back in the day when I was on a show with Mike Fitch and a couple of other guys on Channel 4. It was called Freaky. I did a couple of tricks then using televisions and that kind of thing.
That was awesome.
In televisions. And
you did a great thing with what was that clip you put up recently on Facebook with the TV in the shop? So that was amazing.
It was a trick that was marketed by David Acker, where a card went into a TV screen, but by doing it in a TV shop and not just as a home trick. It was meant as kind of like this trick you do at home just to entertain your friends. But I took it to the production team and said it'd be good to do in a TV shop. And I wanted to do like a series of tricks involving TVs on Freaky. But two made it to air. One was the card going in the TV where you can see David Acker making a guest appearance. And the other one was getting somebody to think of a shape like a geometrical sign. And it was quite a great visual when all the TVs in the shop suddenly had this visual of their thought of design appearing on the screen.
Yeah, it's great. It's a really good way to go, you know. And I think it's relevant. I say this to people all the time. You know, in the old days, you used to borrow a top hat. They weren't a magician's prop. When they were doing tricks with them, the audience was wearing them. So it was relevant to take it. Nowadays, nobody has them. They all have a phone in their pocket. You know, it's always about trying to make magic relatable. So just to touch back again on BGT, there's a few people that will be watching this that will no doubt be on BGT. And what do you think your advice would be for them? You know, those magicians that are going to be in those live shows?
Well, it's changed a lot now, obviously, with people like Russ Stevens involved, and Russ looks after all the magic acts on the show. It's a lot easier than when I did it in the day, because it was kind of like me up against the production team. I've worked with a couple of acts on BGT, tried to help them. Advice is a tricky thing because everybody's different. I would just say my formula whenever I've created an act for Britain's Got Talent has always been to involve the judges as much as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I was talking to Russ the other day, and I think that Russ might be coming on this show to talk a little about BGT as well, and that's going to be fascinating, I'm sure, as that show is airing, to get a bit of the inside knowledge on what's going on this season. David, I asked you when, if you wouldn't mind coming on this show, if you could show us a trick, and you were talking to me about this new thing that you've got. I haven't seen it in person, and you might be able to show it to us today. Is that right?
Yeah, it's a brand new trick. Having been on the Wizard product review, I do get sent tricks all the time. This is brand new. I don't think you can get it at the moment, and it's certainly never been on television. Shall I show you?
Oh, yes, please. And while you're getting ready, let me tell you that tell the audience that David, if you're interested in magic, but you're not a magician, he presents a weekly review show of all the latest new magic that's available. It's called the Wizard Product Review, and you can find it by simply searching those words. Yeah, David, let's take a look.
So this is something, Jamie, with my mobile phone. There's my mobile phone just there. And I'm also going to use my Magic Circle membership card because there's not that much use for that at the moment because Monday nights are closed. And if you check this out, it looks like the membership card is going straight through the center of the phone case. And if I do that again, it really does look like it's going straight through the center of the case. But you're probably thinking this is a trick, it's not an illusion. Maybe there's not something inside the case at all. Well, you're kind of right. There is something inside the case, but it's not a phone. It's something very different. It's a solid block of metal. A solid block of metal that completely fills up the center of the phone case, and it's absolutely...
That is so cool. It really is so cool. What a clean trick. I love it. I love it. And that's great because if you've got somebody in front of you, they can drop that block into their hand and take it home if they wanted, couldn't they? It is a solid block of metal.
Oh, yeah, they can check this.
It is a solid block of metal. That is a great trick. Oh, thanks so much, David. That's awesome. Thank you for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. You know, I love my chats with you, and I'm sure we'll continue later after the show is finished. But I want to thank you again.
Thanks for having me on. And Jamie, thank you for doing this.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's an absolute pleasure. Thanks, mate. We'll see you soon.